park the Aurelia counter pick into the Jace. I think that the main thing that we saw there is that even with Birdle being as good as the champion as he was, he never dared to go in. And I think that was a good call because either the threat of Owner was there. And we actually saw Owner hover in the fog around topside countless times, and he would have been in time had Birdle actually gone in. Or Faker was there. Faker was in the fog, had the Destiny Gate available, and you need to play accordingly.
He even ran up there one time.
Yeah.
Even Carrier was up there.
There we go. So this solves the issue. I think that while in a vacuum, I honestly don't think the Aurelia pick was a problem. The playstyle of T1 completely shut down any possible countering of that pick. So instead, let's force counter onto something else. I think that is a good approach. Viego first pick is possible here if you want to lock in a strong early skirmisher, but instead it's a Leona first pick here, coming out for life. That's a shocker.
It's pretty interesting as a first pick. It does leave kind of the way you want to play open. Obviously, Leona is pretty aggressive, but she can be paired with many different bottom lanes. Or, you know, just solo, she's very much up there on the tier list. But it also leaves a lot available for T1 to pick, right? You were talking about Viego. There's Lee Sin that's available. Even like an Aphelios. The Thresh is taken off the board, though, so probably will fall in priority. As Lee Sin and Twisted Fate, they're running it back. It worked in game 1.
Oh, it's fine. You just bait out the another auto attacker, and then you lock in the Jax on B5. I can see the lines, Veldis. It's easy peasy. No, I'm joking. As we do see the Ezreal coming in here, and I think that's a great adaptation. We talked about it a little bit in the break as well. And while the Xayah pick can make sense into some team comps, T1's comp wasn't necessarily one of them, and the Ezreal was open. The combination of those two factors led to a rather awkward situation where Ruler, even with 3 items as fat as he was, had never really an opportunity to impact the game because T1 didn't really give him one, as the Aurelia will be picked up for Birdle here again. Although, again, is technically a flex pick, and T1 are now forced to either pick up a bot laner and otherwise the risk of getting banned out there even further, or lock in a counter towards that Aurelia. And it will be Kana's Gnaw, but let's not forget that even when the Gnaw was very popular, the Aurelia was considered a counter pick. Feel like that's still a skill matchup as it stands currently, but does mean that Gen G again opt into a style that is going to be reliant on Birdle actually finding leads in lane, and into a TF and Owner on the same champion. I think we're going to see, at least on top side, a similar kind of situation, which is scary for Gen G, to say the least.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'll be curious to see how T1 draft for the bottom lane as well, if they draft a duo that can kind of sustain itself as well. On the red side, you don't want something that's going to get easily pushed in and potentially dove on the bottom side. Obviously, you are going into an Ezreal, but we don't know the jungle pick as well of Gen G, as Aphelios is going to be taken off the board.
Can I interest you in Lady Senna and Sir Thomas Kench?
Oh no!
It's like, the irony is like he even skills better with farm than previously, right? And we say jokingly because they at least the Senna's kind of disappeared from the meta. Tom Kench obviously still around every now and then, and this is a pick we see often in, say, the LEC, but is not very popular here in the LCK. But definitely something, as Guma is looking, he's looking very happy.
What?
And yeah, Tristana into Ezreal, if you can get on top of her early on, it's amazing. And T1 going for the R5 counter pick for Carrier. Not necessary,
or
really.
It's just Lee Sin support, because Carrier can play anything.
He's probably, yeah. Is he the best Lee Sin? We don't know.
The best support Lee Sin, probably.
The fact that you can make an argument for him just being the best Lee Sin in of itself is kind of absurd, as it will be 2 picks that have just fallen through this draft, which has been more about the priority picks for each individual team than it has been about strictly picking in terms of tier. With the Ryze and the Xin making it all the way through, making it to the second rotation. Yes.
Yes.
The answer is always
no.
Yes. Are you joking?
No. Trundle.
Okay, Gary, come on.
Trundle.
Show us.
Well, it's not Blitzcrank.
It's definitely not Blitzcrank.
We know it's not that one. Karma. Okay. It's not Trundle, but I can see what he's getting at.
and that is going to give an overwhelming amount of priority in the bot side. And that's actually in every lane, especially early on. Of course, once BDD gets some AP, we'll be able to blow up the waves and contest Faker relatively well. Ryze can, of course, to a certain extent, follow the TF. But early game on top side, early game in mid lane, and especially that bot lane, like between Explosive Shot and Karma's like priority, Owner's gonna have a field day in terms of freedom on the map.
He really is. I think the map is his oyster. He can kind of go wherever he wants, and I think that's best for a player like Owner. Just unlock him and allow him to do whatever he wants. I think that Clid needs to play a really tight game here. No mistakes, basically. If the enemy jungler just has a ton of room to maneuver, you got to be right there at the right time when potentially he's there for some counter ganks, or maybe you try to make a play when the bottom lane gets aggressive. It's going to be interesting to see how he does play around these lanes.
Because for Clid, we talked about the priority that is available, yes, but a lot of the lanes are also very susceptible to ganks. Gumayushi, not as much with the safety that Rocket Jump provides, but Faker, Kana, if they get caught in a rotation or in mini-Nav form, they can get blown up very quickly. The setup is amazing, the all-in potential is definitely there for Gen G. Seeing how there was a complete lack of activity in the early game, I don't know if Gen G is actually going to cash that early potential of aggressiveness in, especially if they can't keep track of Owner and Birdle. Doesn't really want to flip it, which I think is the right call, but also means that you lose so much power of the Iradia pick, at least the type, or in terms of what it provides you in early laning pressure. But I wonder, Veldes. I wonder. We're just going to keep going deeper and deeper until we end up at Nullfight again. I feel like with the Jace ban, that topic hasn't really been broached, but if you want to
I'm
go into
down.
mountainous
I
things.
kind of, you know, I'm still a little bit upset that Trundle was ignored. It's okay.
I think
get over
one of the only things you love more than stopwatches at the moment is just Trundle.
Yeah, and
in any role.
And Ziggs, but
yeah, okay,
he's banned most games.
Mid lane Trundle, yeah.
Sure.
Support Trundle,
why not?
Absolutely.
He can go anywhere.
Jungle Trundle,
not 80 carry though.
We haven't seen the stable top lane Trundle yet, though.
True.
One day.
That technology just hasn't come in yet. We'll see.
It's being developed.
Still developing, yeah.
Yeah. R&D is on it.
Let's see.
Not quite there yet.
Goomba and Keria looking to exert some early pressure.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage.
And yep. There's that poke, comes in. Nice amount of damage. Ruler tries to trade back, takes a little poke of his own. Ooh, that one was nicely dodged. Keria going for the field goal.
Oh, they know. That's a big ward there. Because obviously that ward also allows them to go for that play in the first place, as they have the guarantee that they'll be walking through to them. But simultaneously, if Clid gets the level 2 cheese gank off there, you're feeling great. But now, he's been spotted twice, so you know the exact route that he's going to take. You know which camps he's going to be at which time, which should allow you, as T1, to move forward with impunity. And you see T1's bot lane immediately making use of the insane amount of priority that they have at level 1. God damn, so much pressure that a possible trade, or at the very least some pressure being exerted by Life and Ruler at level 2, not a possibility. And look at the summoners as well. Life has gone for Exhaust here, whereas Keria has gone for Ignite. That's a nice change of pace in terms of what you'd normally expect from these two respective lanes.
And how about a play?
Yeah.
At 3 minutes?
Okay. You take that, I think.
I like it. Nice buffer, easy against the Leona. Good dodge from Life. Going to avoid the magic Q.
And now BDD going for an early back. As we see the topside Scuttle being taken by Clid. And in terms of 1v1, of course, the Xin Zhao incredibly strong. Birdle, what are you playing forward a little bit more? And that's one of the things that I think they might want to look to switch up. Yes, it's high risk. If Owner is there, you're in a lot of trouble. But sometimes those are risks you need to take, especially if you want to really get the most out of the matchup. And yeah, Nice early pressure here. That plate is going to give T1 a great first back once Guma and Carrier actually find their way back to the base. Owner and towards that bot side. Scuttle Crab as Kana says no.
Yeah, just being annoying, you know. Trying to delay that back. Nearly able to get it a second time with the ward. But that'll be just fine. Picks up the call, does Bertle. Going right back to the lane, not going to teleport, just runs up there.
And the vision control has been so good, and this is something that really allows this Tristana and Karma lane to shine, is that with as much vision as they have here, like they can just push with impunity. Owner is also hovering, another buffer, right? So you need a gank from Clade, but the river is warded, thanks to the Scuttle Crab, and you're awarding the Tri-Brush, and every time life jumps on you, in this case he also gets ignited, but you just buffer away.
Yeah, and look at this. Owner's here. So if the Xin Zhao decided, okay, now's a good time to go for a gank, the answer would be no. Owner would be right there. Already too much damage onto life, so Ruler just has to sit here under the turret and kind of bleed plates over to this lane. It's so annoying to deal with this. And so far the Xin Zhao hasn't been able to do anything to help out. Other lanes, you know, pretty even. I suppose that, you know, it's about 8 to 10 CS ahead in the solo lanes here for Gen G. But that is just fine, as we don't have a big sample size here of TF versus Rise. But 6-2, I suppose a lot of those games must have been Faker, as he is one of the big TF players here in Korea.
One of the nice things about T1 putting this much pressure on the bot side, and one of the only positive things that you can really mention for Gen G, is that it has actually allowed Bertle to exert a lot more pressure than he did in the last game. Right, as you can see here, building up a 20 CR. Oh, Carrier.
He took that one wrong step, and now he's dead. As he's going to try to get away, and you know what? With the exhaust, he will not be able to, as he's just going to run into the pit. Blade immediately starts up the dragon, and that one extra step back into the enemy jungle was all it took for the first blood to go to Gen G.
Really nice trap being set up there by Gen G, punishing Carrier as he goes in to obtain some vision control. And that is huge, because taking down Carrier means a bit of relief of pressure for Ruler. Means an initial Drake going over, and you saw like BDD literally just realm warp to say, yeah, I will take the kill. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you plating it up nicely for me. Lovely. I'll take that. Yeah, delicious. Free gold here. And especially in this matchup, that means that it's so much easier, I say. It's Clade.
Okay, trying to turn it around. No flash here and no ult. No crescent guard for the Xin Zhao. Not trying to turn it onto Owner, and Bertle's here first. Big Gnar into the wall, though, as Kana sets it up, but Bertle's not done. He's getting so much work done in the back line. Not able to jump back on the Faker, though. It doesn't matter. He's still able to pick up the triple. BDD immediately gets the emote game going, as that is a really nice turnaround for Gen G.
Oh, if you needed any more proof that both these teams take this best of 3 extremely seriously, where you can feel the tension, neither of them really want to lose to the other one, it is triple teleports being thrown at a random fight in the bot side river over nothing. Actually, I guess there was a Krabby, so, you know, maybe they want to go for some crab meat, but man, that is 3 kills on Bertle. It's going to give him so much gold to work with once he eventually cashes in on those items. And I want to see another replay, because I thought when Kana came in and found that Mega Gnar into the wall, that was going to be it. But the ability of Gen G to still persevere, really nicely done, with Clade getting blown up basically instantly, not having the tankiness of his ultimate available. That's all nice, and I did like that, but also you need to keep
no buffer this time.
Whoa.
So you can see the damage is real. Ruler trying to extend it. Had a couple of Qs hit. Maybe he could have gotten the kill. But because of that, I think there's a ward on the Raptors. Yeah, there is, to see the Xin Zhao. So immediately this Rift Herald will be started up. But everybody on the side of Gen G now trying to run at this. Might be a little bit too little too late. There's Faker with no summoner here. Yeah, they're just going to take it down. Owner easily able to dodge. Faker for the link up. And that is a really early Rift Herald given over to T1.
And it feels like somewhat similar to game number 1, where I feel like Gen G is getting the upper hand of these skirmishes. But when it comes to actual objectives, T1 generally pulls ahead. Able to sneak away the Rift Herald, able to look at his vision in the bot side, right? Like, yeah, Carrier died at one time.
Gross.
Yeah, that skirmish shouldn't have been taken. But does it really matter when your Tristana has already picked up 3 plates and is nearing a 4th one? When, due to all this vision, there was just no way to really get any form of pressure going. And it's BDD just freely bouncing really nicely here. Faker not having a lot of mana available. And this stun from Birdle again is just... it's revolting. Just insane. And then, yeah, Guma has to jump out there again. As bot side fighting still.
Yeah. You can see Life and Ruler, they're so low on mana, they're expending everything they have to just try to clear waves and try not to bleed out this turret. I mean, it's 9.5 minutes in. This turret's already being threatened. The Rift Herald is down here. Now the rotation is coming in, but there's a ward. That has been a very common theme for T1, having really good vision down on the bottom side of the map now.
Even this is something, right? You just need to answer, because T1 is expending so many resources. Owner also could have thrown down the Rift Herald, not doing that yet, but at any point that he does throw it, it's only 2 plates left on the turret, so it will just instantly go as Faker.
Okay, the flash comes in, and there is going to be the follow-up from Xin Zhao. Nice stun onto Klid. Could save his life, but the follow-up, yep, it's not going to be enough. And here's the dive onto the turret. Life is nearly dead. Really big exhaust might save his life, and it actually will. Not enough damage comes out here, but Owner and Carrier still able to push them off the turret, and they can hold on to that Rift Herald.
And that's really big, because that means that you can use that pressure to maybe contest the next upcoming Drake in a minute. And if you get that kill on Faker, you might be in a much better spot. You get another kill onto BDD, you get a couple of plates, but with you expending so much resources, not being able to kill Faker, and the cross-map play actually working out for T1, because sure, you don't kill the Leona, but do you really care? That's first turret blood going over. And again, ties into the larger theme. Doesn't matter if we get the kills or not. T1 is going to be able to pick up the gold lead no matter what. And I think as Gen G, it's a similar game plan to the first game. You just need to somehow try and force fights, because those you're winning. But as T1, they've shown that generally, unless they forcefully opt into them, they're really good at avoiding them.
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Another relatively even game, this one. Although T1 with the Rift Herald, they didn't have to use it in the bottom lane, so they can just come to the top side as a team and put that pressure on. They're going to give this Infernal over to Gen G. Gen G seem okay to take this trade. Rift Herald is about to expire, so Owner is going to have to use it here 100%. And down it will go. But this is going to be a gigantic amount of plates early on in the game.
It's insane. Like, this gold lead is just so big. Nice buff for that, and yeah, honestly, that's a zoning ultimate. Like, that's never really gonna amount to anything, especially with Carrier still in the general vicinity. As Life might suspect something is up. We see some pings going down. And they do have a ward there, so they should be aware of it later on. Birdle is saying hello to Faker.
A solo plate in the mid lane as well. Nobody was there. The Rise is bought. And now the rotation is coming in quicker. They're just going to immediately blow up Ruler. And Life might meet the same fate. The Everfrost does come out, and BDD does have a lot of damage. Faker eats a big turret shot as a fight in the mid lane as Kana is winning this one against Klid. Klid on the run, will have to flash the wallop, and the house gets dodged. But curious how he ended up in that scenario, and oh man, he missed. Not sure why he didn't go for the tether first. Maybe just wanted to blow him up before any retaliation could come out. And Klid will survive. It's like he's in a minefield right now.
And it is such a big difference of the T1 that we saw at the beginning. And we keep going back to this because look at this vision control. Like, look at how much they're choking Gen G out of the map here. And there's just not that much to do, right? Like, Gen G either need to go for an all-in, which is really hard into the T1 comp, and if done not very carefully without appropriate vision, can also be turned onto you really, really easily. And you are already so far behind just from the turrets, the plates, and then plays like this as well. Just really cleanly execute. You see the threat that BDD poses, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, they blow up Ruler immediately, and yes, damage is insane. If he finds one more bounce, if he has flash there and he goes for a bounce, he picks up a double, right? And then maybe, who knows what will happen, but we're not there yet. And while we're not there yet, T1 is just snowballing the entirety of the map, picking up as much vision as they do. And yeah, you have a free on Birdle, but I think SGNG, T1 is doing their very best to just play away from this Irelia. Try and make plays, especially when Teleport is down, where she's not.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen other teams, namely the one that comes to mind is, of course, Life, where it's like, okay, Chovy takes Irelia, he goes 3-0, and then it ends up not being able to do anything because he's alone, and, you know, in Irelia alone, especially if there's exhaust in the enemy team, which, by the way, there's not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's been it's been an early game here for T1. Casually, 10 plates being taken. But again, Life, they don't quite have the tools that Gen G do. And you've got BDD, you've got other people. You've got Ruler, who hasn't had the easiest time, but he is Ezreal. So if you wait it out, there's definitely a chance that with the nice amount of scaling that is in that Gen G comp, perhaps something could happen later on in the game.
Even now, like, if it's actual 5v5, like, they have so much power. The damage that BDD and Birdle possess at this point in the game is insane. And you see, this is the beauty of T1. Like, they're not going for anything. Like, they don't care. We're just going to take a turret here, but
all right,
collapse.
Realm Warp as everybody's flashing out of that one. And here we go. As the Irelia goes in, they burst her into the wall, and the damage is enough to just kill him before he can do anything. The shutdown is onto Owner, and Gumayusi is totally safe. Nobody can touch him. As T1 back off into a concave, and they say, come at us. We're not, you know, we already got your Irelia. You can't do anything to the rest of us. You can't touch us.
And that's that youthful ferociousness on Birdle, getting over-enthusiastic, seeing a couple of low health bars, diving in and getting promptly Lee Sin kicked into CC, into shields that come through from the Karma here. And look at atomization as well. Gumayusi has gone for very defensive options here, has the shield already available. And I think this collapse initially is looking great, but once this doesn't work out, I think you call it, right? Like, you get a bunch of summoners.
Tristol.
That's one. Then the shield, and then the kick.
Yeah, you've got Mantra shield and also even the leash from the Karma. Like, nobody can follow you that far.
No, it's really nicely done. And it's just a mistake from Birdle, a player that I think in terms of pure mechanics looks great, but it's a problem that we've seen where the mechanics are amazing, but knowing when to use them is the harder part. And I don't even feel like outside of the play we just saw, that has been a big problem. But you see it there, right? Like, I get it, the health bars are low, but sometimes you just take those flashes that you forced, the bunch of summoners, and you let it go. Because then, this Drake is 100% yours. You're able to pick up soul points, you're able to take control of the bot side of your jungle, and you can just go from there. Might be able to answer here with a charge, a possible take on the top tier, or the inner radar, which would give them a considerable amount of gold. Would not mind that at all.
Yeah, really making a move for this. Zenithblade does go wide, but that is okay. They got their objective that they were looking for. They take down the inner turret. Nice amount of gold given over to their team. Now we'll have to see what the next step is, because Drake just got taken by T1. Got the Rage Blade completed here by Gumayusi. It's so awesome, by the way, the combination of both Lee Sin and Tristana.
It's so like, annoying.
Imagine trying to play Irelia into that, and Karma, by the way.
Fun.
Not to mention everything else, but just those two especially, it's like, well, you dive in once, nope. They just have so many nope buttons, it's really annoying to deal with. And we saw what it was able to do in the lane as well. And moving outside of the laning phase, it's also really funny to watch.
There we go. Just sit in the brush. Someone will walk by.
And you know what? Oh boy, they have the vision over the wall, not able to lock down Keria. Here comes the teleport and the Destiny straight into it. T1 wants the damage, but they can't get it down as the Gnar goes in and dies. And yeah, Fakery's like, well, I don't want to flash, but I will have to. The response was swift, and it looked good, but then immediately it's like, well, it's Mini-Gnar into 5 people, and T1 had to back.
If that's a mega, it's a freebie, Valdez, but it's not. It is a Mini-Gnar, and he gets blown up instantly there Gotta imagine that the call from T1 when the teleport was thrown in was to then go in aggressively, actually buy some space for Kana, and then go from there. But that doesn't actually come to fruition. He just teleports in and gets taken down, unfortunately. As we do see that trap being set up here. Nice ward comes through, and yeah, it's the teleport. I do feel like it's a deep teleport. Not sure if this ever really works out, as the hop doesn't really save you there at all. And there's also a perfectly nice ward there in the little brush with the pink ward. You could have gone to that as well. Would have been better. So a similar mistake that we saw Birdle make, now made here by Kana, getting slightly over enthusiastic and keeping this game exciting. It can be a tough ask at times because there are other team fights where it's like, oh, well, that guy's teleport was like a second late. It's split second.
And that's why they lost, because he teleported late. And then top laners have that in their head. They're like, oh, I don't want to be late. I got to get right in there. And maybe he was actually trying to click the pink ward, or, it's a split-second decision. It's hard. It's really difficult. So.
Yeah, I don't... if you go in really hard on mistakes like that, especially when the player comes off an amazing game in the case of Kana, or generally looks great as Birdle, the amount of pressure that these players are under, especially in a game as hyped as this, the repercussions are insane, right? Like, getting a top 2 playoff spot is going to make your playoffs run so much easier.
He gets out! He actually got out!
Calculated. As we get short interruption, a little intermezzo.
He even had exhaust. He's like, nah, I don't need that.
No, I'm good.
It's fine.
I don't care. Incredible. Yeah, just... I don't know, Valdez. I really want to see a third game. And I think T1 have really good map control right now. They're making it really hard for Gen G to engage on them, which in of itself should be enough to at least for now dissuade. And if T1 can start second Ocean Drakes, it becomes a lot harder for Gen G.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
Here we go. T1's like, uh-oh, abort. Abort mission. But now Nar's coming in, but they only get one. That's not enough. The solar flare onto him, he's dead. As Owner casually is killing the Rise in the backside. As you can see, they're trying to get on top of him, and eventually they will. But it takes a little while, and it buys space for his team. Owner does so much for T1 to try to fight back, claw back in that fight.
Oh.
They're waiting.
Oh.
They're waiting for this one. They're going for Clid. Do they have the burst? The answer is no. The buffer is there again. As you can see, they're just trying to kite back, but now Keria is going to bite the dust. Because of that, Guma and Faker alone here against 4. The Dragon in 17 seconds, and Gen G should be able to control Soul Point here.
Ooh, I understand this and I respect it. Not wanting to take the risk, recognizing that T1 can't really walk into vision here as... Oh, they don't know.
The ward comes down. That's a nice gold card. Will save them. Hits Owner.
And reinforcements are coming. You just need to hold on as Gen G. Maybe you can get a little bit of sustain going. Clid going to go in, use his passive.
Very interesting use of Ocean Rift. We don't see that every time.
Boy.
As now, Gen G putting to work.
Has ultimate.
Yeah, Kana, he's not quite at Mega Gnar form. Trying to get in there, but nope, that's going to be Clid with the smite. They're going to find Birdle on the backside, though, as he's trying to fight back. He is surviving for quite a while. He's got stopwatch as well. As he gets the kill, he trades it back. As that is going to be so massive as well. Now 4-on-4. Gnar is available, but it's not that position. They're getting kited out right now by the Ezreal. As Ruler's chasing him down. Not quite able to force them into a fight, though.
Game's dead even, Valdez. As a Soul Point now picked up for Gen G. I want to see how... I know how Birdle got that kill, but I want to see how he got that kill again. Because that was just beautiful. And just there's... especially with the... as you pointed out, with like the Ocean Summoner's Rift as it is at the moment, it's just... there's so many layers to the mind games here, as this is just straight up a collapse coming through on Kana. We see that Faker isn't actually there at the start of the fight. Very disjointed, can't really walk into Birdle or Clit. So they need to respect that appropriately. And then Ruler still not touched. Birdle completely fine. Vision, we don't get to see all of them, but that was Vision Trap number 1 in that brush. And then afterwards, we get Gen G setting up in the other brush. And then eventually everyone actually comes in. Faker goes for an attempt at a Destiny collapse, takes down Birdle. And now, Soul Point for Gen G, but with T1 in the position that they are in right now, still very much capable of winning a team fight. And these fights have been so long and messy as well. It's amazing.
Uh-oh. Owner has done some incredible things in this series, but
does need to respect the 2-item Ezreal.
Yeah.
Ruler feeling, I think, a lot happier on this pick than he was on the Xayah. As it turns out, can do a lot more with Ezreal once she hits some items.
Yeah, I think that was our second Xayah pick of summer.
Yeah, and the first one also lost.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing too much more of that. I was saying even Sivir, maybe would have been a better choice, but we were really digging deep for the picks at that point because there were so many ADC bans.
Yeah, just go.
Even Lucian Flex was banned.
So when you go really deep, yeah, you go into the, the AP carries.
Yeah, Ziggs was also banned.
Maybe you just go Xerath, they never see it coming.
I like that.
And then they think Ruler's going to play the Zen. Now you're looking at Jhin, and then I don't know how that's actually going to work out for you. Horribly, generally, but it's definitely a curveball. And that has value, I think.
Yeah, maybe in like a best of 5. in playoffs, like the really crazy strategies come out when you're down 0-2.
I like it.
It's been a slowly closing gold difference here, as you can see. T1 have been ahead since 15, but they have been slowly losing the grasp. And at this point, a gold lead of 800 gold is barely anything. As you can see right now, it's actually 500, but it really is anybody's game. And Gen Z are on Ocean Rift. Or Ocean Soul Point, I should say. They are also on Ocean Rift. Not untrue.
I mean, we all are.
I
guess we're metaphorically.
Yeah.
The players physically.
We're hanging out in the sky, like in the camera.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Are we the clouds?
We're in the skybox. No, Atlas is the cloud.
Oh, thank you.
We can't be the clouds. There's only one cloud, yeah. Him and the Cloud Drake hanging out together. Just best of friends.
Just chilling, vibing, hanging out, making sure there's enough Cloud Souls to go around in the LCK. And this is feeling like do nothing until the Drake comes through in a minute. Neither team is looking to try and go for aggressive catches. Birdle also has the potential, if he would choose to do so, to look for some aggressive side laning. But I like this more. If you win this fight as Gen G, you pick up the Ocean Soul, you are just in a splendid position. And T1 responds in kind, shoves mid-wave in, and goes with a large amount of people and Faker with Destiny and Teleport into the enemy bot side jungle. Takes away the vision control there, meaning that Gen G needs to walk up very respectfully, needs to slowly clear out. And if they miss position with especially that ultimate available, not gonna really amount to anything though. Faker just using it as intel, still has the teleport as well, so should still be able to join any fight. And I hope T1 is not thinking about a trade for Baron for Soul, because I've seen that one before and can't say I'm a fan. Wouldn't rent that movie again. Yeah. Not what we're looking for, but they're not.
It's a classic scene in the LCK. And at this point, they're a little bit slow. Gen G might just be able to lock it down. Owner's really going deep for that play on the BDD. As you can see, Birdle's just going 1v5 up on the top side. Gets the stun on the Faker. As the Zhonya's does come in, Owner zones away a couple. But look at the damage that's being done right now as they're being hunted down one by one, the Aurelia. Birdle picks up 2, and they get the Ocean Soul. As, oh man, Guma, he gets caught, he gets red, and will he go down is the question. Yes, he will. One more play from Birdle as even the minions come in here. Thank you very much, BDD, for the help.
That's really a performance right there. And yeah, as T1, interesting decision there. make the read. Don't think they can actually get Owner into a position to go for the Baron, or maybe they're trying to win the fight before the Dragon rather, before the Dragon is actually taken. But it doesn't work out. They lose the fight, they lose the Drake. Now Ocean Soul is available for Gen G. They are going to be able to pick up a free Baron here, because Life, he's taking his zoning job very seriously. There is Owner.
Oh, okay. Stop DPS. He's going in. He's just going in straight up, and nope, it's not going to happen. As down he will go after the stasis. Nice effort there from Owner, but it is not going to happen. Gen G just vaulting themselves ahead in this game.
And yeah, there's a call made to attempt and take down Owner, going very deep. But as you point out, meanwhile, Birdle is single-handedly keeping the entirety of T1 out of this fight. Gumayushi, he can't walk up. Faker is forced to stop watch incredibly early, and it's just the mere threat of this Aurelia diving on top of you that the entirety of T1 needs to respect, but they can't really. And then Birdle's like, yeah, I don't care about turrets or anything. Nice attempt from Owner here to go for the steal, and really nicely done. This is basically textbook, right? Stop all forms of damage. Love that, like, Keria is also trying to do damage over the wall just in an attempt to get it done, but then the moment he goes into stasis, Gen G immediately makes that decision. Okay, now damage hit, no spine available, take it down, and that's
Look at Birdle.
That's a 17-year-old rookie. He's going in.
Raid boss right now as the sun comes in, and he is just tanking huge amounts of damage. But this time, Guma, he's got a lot of room. He's kiting them down. He takes down Life. Now Clint's in danger as he's trying to get within that Crescent Guard. As Faker almost dies, it's a nice flawless duet, but the Gnar to counter. It's now jumping away as Guma, and Birdle is loose again after the GA, and here comes the rest of the team. BDD, by the way, full health, full mana, able to get over the top with that Realm Warp. And this is looking like the Game 3 you were hoping for, Chronicler, because it doesn't look like T1 have a chance to stop this push.
Teleport available as well. Birdle just finishing his wits end. Now got to teleport in here.
Yeah, this should be it. Let's see if they can clear the waves. No Gumayusi for 30 seconds. It's not looking good. As you can see, Owner will go in immediately to his demise as Kana meets the same. And so will Faker after the Zhonya's. Down it goes, BDD picks it up. He says, I'm helping. And down will go the Nexus, and we will have a game number 3 in this series.